TV.
Globe TV, yenim wapedi enyina. Yedi we see rebreu, baby I wish bia. Globe TV, bringing the world to you. Globe TV, yeti semferama, ya muhiya yesumbunti yo babia. Globe TV, yenim wapedi enyina. Yedi we see rebreu, wabubu anu debia. Ifiyemi yamana mansun sem. Globe TV, yenim wapedi enyina. Yedi we see rebreu, wabubu anu debia. Ifiyemi yamana mansun sem. Globe TV, yenim wapedi enyina. Yedi we see rebreu, baby I wish bia. Globe TV, bringing the world to you.
Hello there, good morning to you and welcome to Wake Up News Live on Globe TV with me, Sandra. BOAHEN. Now, coming up in the headlines this morning, President Akufo-Addo has justified the government decision to increase investment in its free senior high school policy despite the country's economic challenges. Also, we have for you the Ghana National Association of Private Schools is alleging a seeming conspiracy to sabotage private schools through unfavorable policies and total neglect of policy interventions by the government in an attempt to boost public schools. We have for you road safety campaign launched to help curb increasing cases of road crashes in the country ahead of the festive season. That's more soon. And private businesses are urged to take advantage of the government flagship program, One District, One Factory, to ensure growth. Well, we've got this and many other details coming up to you on the Wake Up News, including sports. Please do stay with us.
Globe TV, bringing the world to you. Globe TV, bringing the world to you.
Government has launched a new comprehensive online self-enrollment portal, My NHIS app, designed to make registration and renewal of existing members of the National Health Insurance Scheme. The new application, which is an addition to the several digital platforms introduced into the health sector, includes several user-friendly features, such as enabling persons desirous of enrolling with the NHIS to do so in the comfort of their homes using their mobile phones instead of having to do so at an NHIS district office. Its app will operate on both Android and iOS smartphones and allow NHIS members to securely pay registration and membership renewal fees from their mobile money wallets, bank and Visa accounts.
Pillars that will drive digitalization in any country. You must have unique identity, and this is why we come across. The third pillar that we put inclusion, access to financial inclusion, and that is because of our mobile money interoperability. Because today we can only renew our NHIS cards if we can pay. You use the mobile money to pay or your bank account to pay. You can only buy the electricity units from home if you can pay. So mobile money interoperability is a key figure, and today virtually everybody has a mobile money account, which means it can act like a bank account. So we put those 3 pillars in place to drive the digitalization agenda. And when we come into the healthcare space, we are very, very keen on making sure we can improve access and make sure that quality health and so on can be delivered. And digitalization has been very key in the healthcare space.
Now, the Health Minister, Kweku Agyemang-Manu, has revealed an imminent bilateral agreement between the government of Ghana and the British government to send Ghanaian trained nurses to the United Kingdom in exchange for financial considerations. According to Mr. Agyemang-Manu, this will be similar to an already existing arrangement with Barbados, where he said Ghanaian nurses are excelling. The MP for Doma Central made this known on Monday on the floor of Parliament during the 2023 budget debate. Now, the labor unions in the country have vowed to kick against any attempt by the government to reduce the value of pension funds of public sector workers. At a news conference on Monday, the president of the National Association of Graduate Teachers, Angel Kabonu, disclosed that the government on Friday held a meeting with various fund managers and announced its intention to reduce the values of investment of public sector workers due to the debt exchange program. Mr. Kabonu said the labor unions have been shortchanged by this decision of the government.
Mr. Kabonu noted that NAGRAT and the other unions will resist the decision by the government. This union's concerns follow an announcement on Sunday by the finance minister of a debt restructuring program to put the country's debt on a sustainable path. According to Mr. Ofuriatta, the debt exchange program is part of a key requirement for the government to obtain an economic program from the International Monetary Fund. According to him, treasury bills and individual bond holders will, however, not be affected by the program. Mr. Ofuriatta also reiterated that there will be no haircuts on the principle of bonds. However, domestic bond holders will be compelled to exchange their instrument for new ones.
And when the president speaks, citizens ought to take the president seriously. On Friday, which was a public holiday, the Ministry of Finance invited the fund managers of all the schemes in this country to a meeting and indicated to them the intention of government to implement this policy of reducing the values of our investment with government as a result of the economic situation we find ourselves. To slap these percentages again on our investment is shooting us with a double-barrel gun. The sad thing is that some of these bonds that have been purchased by the various schemes is as a result of government inability to have transferred funds to the various schemes on time and had to negotiate with labor to convert some of these arrears into bonds. Now that you've made us convert some of these arrears into bonds, you are now telling us that by force majeure, we will have to accept a certain percentage. Who does that? And where does that happen? I have entered into a contractual agreement with you. The contractual agreement indicates that the workers' money, and this we are talking about both private sector and public sector, because almost every worker in this country pays tier 2.
It is for this reason that the labor unions have stated their resolve not to accept any debt restructuring that will affect their investments adversely.
Unions will not accept this. We are members of the forum made up of the public sector unions, and we want to assure our members that we will resist this move by government. We will resist this move by government by any means necessary. That we will not accept this. No worker in this country is going to accept this. We will not, under any circumstances, be shortchanged by any government, taking away poor people's monies, poor pensioners' monies. I thought that pension is a social security situation, and that every government ought to be very interested in the pensions of people. People who have worked.
Let's now focus in Parliament, where the minority has rejected the debt exchange program intended to restructure the country's debt into more sustainable levels as a critical part of the ongoing negotiations with the International Monetary Fund to secure $3 billion in support for the economy. The government is exchanging already sold bonds for new ones with a more flexible interest payment plan. But addressing the press conference on Monday, Minority Leader Haruna Iddrisu said the form and structure of the program are unacceptable.
Haruna Iddrisu wondered why the contours of the debt restructuring plan were not included in the 2023 budget statement presented by the Finance Minister in his recent address to the House. He added that the Finance Minister restructuring the terms of a loan agreement without approval from Parliament is contrary to the 1992 Constitution and would be rejected by the Minority Caucus.
He states without any fear of contradiction that the form and structure of the debt restructuring plan announced by Minister Ken Ofori-Atta is unacceptable to us, and we simply will not accept it. I shudder to ask, how come that the contours, I'm quoting him, of this debt exchange program was not announced in the budget statement that was presented to Parliament? Were investors consulted? Bondholders, were they consulted? How did he come to this conclusion? Are we not right to state that this amounts to an economic imposition against the investment intent and wishes of those who bought the bonds? According to Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta, Ghana's debt is unsustainable and cannot be serviced fully if it does not restructure some 137 billion of our domestic debt. We are told today that Ghana is the first country in Africa, and we add Nana Addo Dankwa, the first president under the Fourth Republic, to lead our economy this far and to round it.
Meanwhile, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, has expressed hope that the proposed debt exchange program to restructure the country's debt will bring some confidence into the economy, as well as enhance the ongoing monetary policy to control inflation. According to him, this has become necessary due to the economic challenges which many banks are being affected by. This has led to a high cost of borrowing and doing business in the country.
Guarantee debt sustainability over the medium term. A debt exchange operation is proposed to be undertaken to support the consolidation agenda. But I think that the information provided should give us the broad level of confidence that the fiscal measures as well as the debt operations should help us foster confidence, improve our debt metrics, and complement what we have been doing on the monetary policy side to bring down the pressures in the pricing levels. Ladies and gentlemen, I've discussed the significant loss of reserves that we have experienced during the year. And one of the measures that we are taking to address this issue and to gradually rebuild reserves in more sustainable ways.
While you're still watching the Wake Up News live on Globe TV, we are also streaming live on Facebook at Globe TV GH. Coming up next, the Ghana National Association of Private Schools is alleging a seeming conspiracy to sabotage private schools through unfavorable policies and total neglect of policy interventions by the government in an attempt to boost public schools. And we have for you road safety campaign launched to help curb increasing cases of road crashes in the country ahead of the festive season. There's more coming up. Please do stay with us.
Globe TV, bringing the world to you. Globe TV, bringing the world to you.
Economic challenges, according to the president, based on the performance of free SHS beneficiaries in the last two West Africa secondary school certificate examinations. The policy has proven more impactful than what existed previously.
President Ekufo-Addo, who was speaking at the 70th anniversary of Opokuwari School in Kumasi, enumerated that 61.39% recorded A1 to C6 in mathematics as compared to the 33.12% in 2016 and 71.5% recorded A1 to C6 in social studies as compared to 54.5% in 2016. According to him, the 2021 batch of students who also obtained very commendable results were the pioneers of the double track system, which elicits a lot of vilification and unfounded criticism on its introduction. According to the president, the pass rate in the free SHS era has realized systematic improvement over the pre-free SHS era, with the 2022 results being the best in 8 years.
I can state without equivocation that I'm very proud of the policy and of its results thus far. Yes, there have been challenges associated with this policy, for which government has addressed substantially many of them. And there will be more in the course of time. Such is the nature of social evolution, so that at every stage the challenges will be met. The 2022 WACC results of the third batch of the people I like to call the Akufo-Addo graduates shows 60.39% of students recording A1 to C6 in English, as opposed to 51.6% in 2016. Surely there can no longer be any controversy about the validity of the free senior high school policy and its consequential measures. It is working, and working well.
For this reason, the president believes the free SHS has been very successful, with 1.3 million children benefiting from the policy, which comes with its challenges. Despite current economic challenges, budgetary allocation for the policy implementation has increased from 2.3 billion cedis to 2.96 billion cedis.
It is for this reason that in spite of the economic difficulties confronting our nation, government has devoted even more resources for the running of the free senior high school policy. From a budget of 2.3 billion cedis in 2022, a 28.6% increase has been applied to this year's budget for free SHS, i.e. 2.96 billion cedis.
Management of the school used the opportunity to call on the government to resume the renovation of projects that have stalled for months. Headmaster Reverend Father Stephen Owusu-Sechere spoke at the ceremony.
We extend a word of gratitude to all past members of management and staff who, over the years, through dedication and commitment to duty, have contributed to the success stories of this school. With hearts full of gratitude, we acknowledge the hard work of the current members of management and staff. We appreciate you for holding on to the legacy of your predecessors. Please continue to remain focused and work hard to bring our school to great.
Meanwhile, the current economic woes seem to have dealt a mortal blow to private schools in the country. In an exclusive interview with my colleague Belinda Tete, the Bono East Regional Chairman of the Ghana National Association of Private Schools, Mr. Joseph Prince Sorigan, said the worsening economic conditions are collapsing the operation of private schools as parents could not afford to pay school fees due to hardship in the country.
Apart from an almost 10 months hiatus from classes due to COVID-19 pandemic, which put over 222 private schools out of business, the economic hardship in Ghana has been a discussion on the streets, at religious gatherings, at the workplace, on long phone calls, and even in the bedroom. The economic situation in the country has a dire impact on households and businesses, worsening the plight of private schools. Speaking to the Bono East Regional Chairman of the Ghana National Association of Private Schools, Joseph Prince Sorigan, he said, the current economic situation is putting the operations of private schools out of business as many parents are struggling to pay fares for the awards.
The kind of inflation we are experiencing, Bank of Ghana or the Minister for Finance is telling us that the inflation is around 40% and above. And you see, with 40%, it means that the disposal or the income at the disposal of the normal parent, Ghanaian parent, is becoming difficult. But in all, I think managers are also aware, or the teachers are also aware of the situation we are in now. So some of them are understanding the managers of the institutions, and we are doing our best. But the labor turnover is really happening.
According to him, persistent fuel price hikes have grounded school buses, and increasing prices and foodstuffs have left many private school children hungry, staring into the faces of matrons wondering where their hitherto delicious meals had gone to.
It's becoming very difficult with the increment in prices of foodstuff. I can assure you that the prices of foodstuff is more than 100% increment. Even though we have an inflation of 40%, but if you go to the market, a bag of groundnut that was 800 cedis in January now is around 1,800. That is over 100%. Rice, a bag of rice that was around 300 is now around 800, 700. Cooking oil, we all saw what happened. Until now it was around 1,000, and buying even salt that was around 80 cedis is around 200 cedis. So it tells you that the increment in food prices is affecting our operations.
He said the increased monetary policy rate by the Bank of Ghana, high inflation and depreciation of the cedi are suffocating private schools, particularly private schools that depend on loans to run. He as well added that the government has sabotaged private schools in the country through unfavorable policies and total neglect of policy interventions by the government in an attempt to boost public schools.
The cost of funds in Ghana, and for that matter developing countries, have been so high over the years, and this current situation have made it too high for us, because you go for a loan and you have to pay around 30% or 36%. Some are even charging 40%, and so even now it's difficult to access the facilities. The banks are also reluctant because things are really hard, the economy is not stable, and then liquidity wise the banks are also trying to stay in business, so it's becoming difficult to access funds, and where you even get access to that funds, the cost of the funds is too high, the interest rate is too high for us.
He therefore called on policymakers to consider private schools when drafting policies that provide quality education to the Ghanaian child.
Sometimes Policies that are supposed to benefit the Ghanaian child, you have to see the intervention that the private schools are making, because we are making a lot of interventions. Let's take employment alone. Look at the number of people we employ in our sector. That alone is taking a certain bit of burden from the government.
Let's now focus on agriculture in the Bono East region. The regional minister, Kwesi Adujan, has called on the private sector to take the advantage of the government flagship program, One District, One Factory, to ensure growth. Nana J has the rest of the report.
From one which is dependent on the import and export of raw materials to one which is focused on manufacturing, value addition, and export of processed goods. These raw materials are largely found in the districts which would have otherwise gone waste. The initiative, as proposed by the President, is private sector-led. Government creates the necessary conducive environment for businesses to access funding from financial institutions and other support services from government agencies to establish factories. Ghanaian entrepreneurs will thus own the companies, operate them, and bear all the risk and rewards of the projects. Speaking at this year's Farmers' Day celebration at Atebubu on Friday, Mr. Adujan articulated the need for private businesses to take advantage of the initiative.
The government cannot do this alone. The resources are limited. It is therefore crucial that the private sector steps in to take advantage of the 1D1F flagship project of this government. The enabling environment has been created, and we need the private sector and investors to partner with us to move the development of this country forward.
Speaking to Globe News, the Bono East Regional Director of Agriculture, Mrs. Cecilia Keja-Jeman, highlighted some factors that accounted for the high increases in prices of grains in the country.
I think it's about pricing. Oftentimes our prices are poor. The prices are low. They are not attractive. And therefore, this team, the team for Farmers' Day, this current Farmers' Day, is promoting value addition and encouraging all of us to process it. So if we get into the area of
moving on, the National Road Safety Authority and the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority of Ghana, in collaboration with Globe TV, have launched a road safety campaign to help curb increasing cases of road crashes in the country ahead of the festive season. The campaign focused on a series of activities, including sensitization exercises on the road aimed at causing attitudinal changes in drivers and pedestrians, as well as enforcing road traffic regulations. My colleague Abna Makafui brings us more.
The impact of road accidents could be huge, affecting society and individuals on different sides. According to the National Road Safety Authority, Ghana loses over 230 million annually due to road crashes. Despite the eminence of COVID-19 disease in the current public health space, road crashes remains a contributor to mortality. It is estimated that some 1.4 million people die from road crashes globally. Now, several accidents could be prevented if some people did what is expected of them whenever they are behind their wheels. This is Techiman Tamale Road. Let's see how equipped drivers are to prevent road accidents ahead of these festive seasons. First of all, let's speak to the road safety head. Sir, good morning.
Morning.
As we can see you on the road, so can you tell us what this program is about?
Okay, thank you very much. This National Safety Authority, as our core mandate, we have to educate the general public on how best to stay safe on our roads. So this is one of the education. At times we go to the terminals, but this time we are on the road. We are not doing arrests, but we are educating them on what they are supposed to do, so that at least the road traffic carnages on our road.
So far, how good is it going?
I would say so far so good. Some of them are ignorant, so we are educating them, and we hope that they will adhere to what we are telling them.
Thank you very much. Let's speak to this man on the motorbike.
Say good morning.
Good morning.
Patronette say.
Yami Adompa.
Me who say we share helmet. And then I be dem maka motor for ne drivers for work kwan so bro nya ye be then afuto be na dem mo kwan so.
Dey me pese me catch my special drivers no. Obetima ma highlight o madim. Ba to share unia na o madim na we so madim a. Others e ma accident bi ansi. Ba obi be highlight na to ninu na nia na afi wakonya problem. Na motor for to be amomodin so be share the helmet na walance si motor no ene be boa.
Yeah, that's Nyamisha. Okay, so I can see we have the DVLA people too around here. We move to the head of the DVLA department and we speak to him. Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Please, your name.
I'm Victor Ekotechisego.
All right, we could see you on the road for campaign. How good is it going?
We just came, so we have started. Let's see how it goes. Once we have started, we will see the progress of work.
Any advice for drivers and the pedestrians?
As usual, we always want to educate and the drivers and then the general public, the road users. We are getting to Christmas festivities, and we know when such a time there are a lot of crashes on the road. So we are here to educate the road users, and then
he has loaded his car and then his tail lights our DVLA busted, and then it is the duty of the police to enforce the law. We are doing education, but they must help to enforce the law. So with this Christmas festival, we will advise and we will plead with the police to help enforce the law so that our lives, the lives of the drivers and pedestrians and passengers will be saved during this season.
Campaign education is very, very important because we know some people will be stubborn, but others too will listen to what we are telling them. We tell them not to speed. Those who are not wearing their seatbelts, we tell them to put on their seatbelts. Those who have loaded unsecurely, we tell them to do proper loading. And all other road safety issues, we have been educating them. If they are tired, they shouldn't drive while they are tired. And as passengers too, while they are on board in the vehicle, they should see what is going on and also advise the driver. They also have a duty as passengers to guide them, especially against over speeding.
I think those who are listening to us. Those who have decided not to listen, we are just pleading with them. We are not making arrests today. We are doing public education. You see, there are a lot of people are not putting their about the majority of the motor riders don't have roadworthy certificates. Majority of them, they don't even know that they need to renew their roadworthy. So we are using this medium to educate them that they need to do their roadworthy every year. Majority of them don't wear helmet. If you take about 10 motor riders, about 9 of them don't have. They don't wear. They will tell it is in the house or they don't have it at all. So it's very important that they wear their helmet. And I think that we need to continue this public education so that everybody will be on board.
For Globe TV News, I am Abena Makafui. Well, we have for you the latest in the world of sports right after this break.
Hello, good morning. It's now time to bring you updates from the world of sports. My name is Robert KONHEY. Let's quickly take a look at some headlines. The World Cup round of 16 continued yesterday. Croatia and Brazil are the latest teams to progress to the quarterfinals. It was a joy in Brazil after they progressed to the quarterfinals. We have the reactions of their fans for you. Also, the Moroccan national team have held their final training session ahead of their game against Spain. Elsewhere, Lionel Messi and his Argentina teammate have started preparations for their next encounter. Also, England ace Bukayo Saka has spoken ahead of their quarter-final game against France. And in some local stories, Mohamed Kudus has reportedly attracted interest from a host of Premier League clubs. Ajax have set their price tag for the Ghanaian international. Also, former Nigerian international Julius Agahoua has slammed Ghanaian players for their performance against Uruguay. Now let's go for this short break. We'll be back with the details of this and many other stories.
Globe TV, bringing the world to you.
You're welcome back. Now let's begin with the World Cup games. Yesterday, Croatia beat Japan on penalties. It was 3-1. Also, Brazil beat Korea Republic by 4-1 to progress to the quarterfinals.
That's another threatening ball. And in! Maeda pounces! And is it going to be?
Globe TV, bringing the world to you. Globe TV, bringing the world to you. Globe TV, bringing the world to you. Globe TV, bringing the world.
So those were the games. It was a joy in Brazil after they progressed to the quarterfinals. Their fans reacted after the game. Also, the Moroccan national team have held their final training session ahead of their game against Spain. So the likes of Ashraf Hakimi, Hakim Ziyech, and also Yusuf El Nesri, Hashim Bonu were all on the training grounds and are ready for the encounter. Also, Lionel Messi and his Argentina teammates have started preparation for their next encounter. So that is the man in your picture ready for the next action. England ace Bukayo Saka has spoken ahead of their quarter-final game against France.
About England specifically and the qualities that you have that can cause them perhaps just as many problems as they're going to cause you?
I think, first of all, if you look at our first 4 games, I think we have 3 clean sheets. So it starts, you know, how solid we've been at the back, and that's credit to the defenders and obviously Pickers, our keeper. You know, they've been exceptional there. And of course, at the same time, we've scored the most goals as well. So I feel like we just need to just prepare the best game plan and go there with confidence because we're playing good right now.
Obviously, knockout football brings with it the threat of penalties. We all know what happened to you personally after the European final. How do you feel now about the potential to take a penalty? And can you just reflect for us a little bit about how you've perhaps changed since that moment?
Well, yeah, I've obviously matured and progressed a lot as a player and a person since that moment. And, you know, I wouldn't have stepped up the times I've stepped up for Arsenal to take a penalty if I wasn't confident. So obviously if the moment... Now
to some local stories. Ghana midfielder Mohamed Kudus is attracting interest from a host of English Premier League clubs ahead of the winter transfer window. The 22-year-old increased his stocks after a magnificent World Cup debut, scoring 2 goals and providing an assist in 3 matches. His performance has seen him pop up on the radar of several clubs, including Spanish giants Barcelona, but the Catalan won't make a move for the player this transfer window. Ajax will be demanding £40 million for the midfielder who has been used as a striker in some parts of the season. Also, former Super Eagles striker Julius Agahoua has criticized Ghana's game plan and mentality following a 2-0 defeat to Uruguay in the World Cup. The Black Stars face the South Americans in the final Group H match on Friday at the Al Janoub Stadium in Al Wakra, needing a win or a draw to advance to the next round, but instead they lost. Ghana made a strong start to the game but fell apart when Captain Andrew Ayew missed a penalty in the 21st minute, a repeat of what happened in 2010 in South Africa. While Portugal and South Korea advanced to the knockout round, Ghana and Uruguay both failed to qualify out of the group. Now that's how we draw the curtains down on sports. My name is Robert Konye. Thank you so much for your time.
Globe TV, yatisem ferama, ya muhiya ya sumbunti ya obabia. Globe TV, yenim wapedi yenyina, yadiwi ya siribreu, wabubu wanu debia. Efiye mi ya manamansun sem. Globe TV, yenim wapedi yenyina, yadiwi ya siribreu, wabubu wanu debia.
You're welcome back. Let's take a recap of the top stories. President Akufo-Addo has justified the government decision to increase investment in its free senior high school policy despite the country's economic challenges. And we have for you the Ghana National Association of Private Schools is alleging a seeming conspiracy to sabotage private schools through unfavorable policies and total neglect of policy interventions by the government in an attempt to boost public schools. And road safety campaign launched to help curb increasing cases of road crashes in the country ahead of the festive season. Private businesses are urged to take advantage of the government flagship program, One District, One Factory, to ensure growth. That's how we do the curtains down on the Wake Up News with you this morning. I am Sandra Edu-Bwine. It's now time for Yese Nose with Kofi Asamoah Enin. On behalf of the entire production, we say thank you very much for your time.